16th place Manchester United, 17th place Tottenham Hotspur. This is somehow the Europa League final. Both teams have been really bad in the league this season, but somehow they have made it to a final. This game means a lot for both teams. The one who loses this game could have some serious repercussions. No Champions League football, no income for signings, and then you add to that the pressure that these managers have, one of them could seriously lose their job. Ange Postecoglou, even if Tottenham Hotspur win this game, could still end up leaving at the end of the season. As for Ruben Amorim, if he doesn't win this game, there's going to be some serious pressure on him over the summer, and he might not even keep his job, even though he only got it halfway through the season. And especially because he loses the final to a team like Tottenham Hotspur. The jeopardy and the consequences of this game are seriously massive. This final will not be decided by which team is better, but by which team is actually worse on the pitch, because that's just how bad they've been this season. I'll be giving you my prediction for this game at the end of the video, so stick around because the prediction might just surprise you. Let me know your predictions down below in the comments right now. In the lead up to this game, both teams have been preparing quite similarly, and that is by losing. Tottenham Hotspur in their recent game got absolutely annihilated by Aston Villa, and Manchester United lost to a late Cucurella goal against Chelsea. There's some serious injury concerns for Tottenham though. James Maddison has been out for the season now, and he has been incredible in their big games. His backup, which is probably Dejan Kulusevski, is also injured and out with a knee injury. And the backup to both of them, who was Lucas Bergvall, is probably also injured from the final. So it's a massive blow. They have a massive decision to make in that attacking midfield role. But in good news, Heung-min Son is fit and they have his experience to rely upon. In terms of Tottenham's lineup, it's going to be Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro at right back, with Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, the usual backline which actually got rested completely against Aston Villa. Moving on to the midfield, the double pivot is going to be Bentancur and Bissouma. Both of them have really stepped up in recent weeks, and in the semi-finals they were excellent. The front three will likely be Richarlison, Solanke and Brennan Johnson, who were all rested in the last game. But that means Ange Postecoglou has a massive decision to make in thinking about that number 10 role. Heung-min Son is probably too offensive and doesn't have enough defensive reliability or energy to be playing in that number 10 role. You can't play with the front two of Richarlison and Solanke because that will affect the way they build up their play. So in my opinion, he should go with Wilson Odobert. His quick feet in the middle might be really good. He's excellent in the half spaces and he's someone who can turn on the ball really quickly. And it's a very key position for Tottenham Hotspur. So let me know down below who you would play in the number 10 role. As for Manchester United, they've had a few injuries as well. Matthias de Ligt is probably too unfit to be starting this game. Joshua Zirkzee is out for the whole season, and I think he would have started in that number 9 role, especially with how Rasmus Højlund has been playing. And Lenny Yoro and Lisandro Martinez are probably both out of the game too. And the Yoro injury is a massive one, because I thought in the semi-finals he was crucial to Manchester United absolutely annihilating Bilbao in the semis. As for the lineup, it's going to be Onana in goal most likely, even though he's made a few mistakes in high-octane games. Going into the defence, we have Mazraoui at right wing back, depending on Dallow's fitness. If Dallow can make it, it's probably going to be Dallow. At left wing back, Patrick Dorgu. The three in the defence is probably going to be Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. They're going to have to go veteran because they genuinely don't have any other options. Moving to the midfield in front of them, Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte. And then the front three is going to be Amad Diallo with Bruno Fernandes and Rasmus Højlund as the number 9. Manchester United have some serious options on the bench though. They've got Mason Mount, Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho to count on. So if they can put these three players on late in the game, especially if they're chasing the game, they can definitely get back into it. But there's two big questions that Ruben Amorim needs to answer. And the main one is whether he drops Manuel Ugarte, brings Bruno Fernandes into that double pivot alongside Casemiro, and then allows Garnacho to play so they actually have something on the counter attack. And the second decision, which in my opinion he should not be starting Rasmus Højlund, but he has a decision to make. Should Rasmus Højlund start or should he not? Should he be playing Bruno Fernandes as a false 9 and bring on another attacker? From recent weeks I've been watching him, Rasmus Højlund has been stinking it up, and in my opinion he does not deserve to start. Let me know what you guys think down below. Should he start Højlund or should he not? As for the game itself, let's look at both teams' weaknesses weaknesses that can be exploited in this game, starting with Manchester United's weaknesses that Tottenham Hotspur should definitely be taking advantage of. If Lenny Yoro, Matthias De Ligt and Lisandro Martinez are all out and they have to play Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, those are some real veterans. The pace is not quite there in that defence, especially down that Lindelof and Maguire side. So if you can get Wilson Odobey or Destiny Udogie just overloading that left-hand side, making runs in behind, finding themselves on the byline, and then you get Brennan Johnson in at the back post, Udogie crosses it in, Brennan Johnson has a tap in. They could get some really good joy down the backside of that defence, because if they play a long ball, Maguire and Lindelof are definitely not catching the pace of a player like Wilson Odobey or say Brennan Johnson. I actually think that if Ruben Amorim really wants to attack against Spurs, he should either make the defence drop back a bit, either make the right wing back drop back a bit so that he can actually support the defence, or he risks playing a half-fit Matthias De Ligt who still has a bit more mobility than someone like Victor Lindelof. As much as Manchester United's midfield has improved as well in recent weeks, it's a midfield of Casemiro and Man Utd. Casemiro struggles to defend large spaces, even though he hasn't had to defend that quite recently, and Man Utd is a pure shin kicker. He's all about what he provides out of possession rather than in possession. So if Spurs can get their number 10 and their other midfielder, which is probably Bissouma or Bentancur, to do a heavy press against them too, they're just going to be booting that ball back to Spurs, which will allow Spurs to get some real key control in the key zones of the pitch. And if that happens, then it's a long day for Manchester United in terms of in possession. But what Ruben Amorim could do is bring Bruno Fernandes a bit deeper, make it a 3 in midfield and solidify that midfield if he feels like the pressure from Spurs is too much. So I'm giving you the solutions as well that Ruben Amorim can come up with against the weaknesses that they have against Spurs. Finally, Spurs could definitely use the vulnerability of the wing-backs of Manchester United to their advantage. If Man United play a half-fit Dalot and Dorgu as the wing-backs, then Porro and Udogie can really get past them when they push up, especially on the counter-attack. So if Spurs are brave enough on the ball and they allow those fullbacks to push up, they can really overload on the sides and cause Manchester United massive problems. And Patrick Dorgu on that left-hand side in recent weeks has definitely been targeted for defensive errors and just lapses of concentration. I think he's a quality player. I think he has a lot of potential at Manchester United, but the lapses of concentration has cost him in a couple of key moments, and if Tottenham Hotspur can get it right and they pick and choose the moments they allow their fullbacks to push up, they can cause Manchester United massive problems. As for Manchester United, they should look to exploit the space that is left behind in an Ange Postecoglou system. We always know they love to build up in the 2-3-5 formation, and Ange Postecoglou loves to get his fullbacks moving forward, but that leaves so much space on that right hand side, right besides Romero, right in behind Romero. So if he can get Bruno Fernandes, or whether it's Garnacho or Højlund, right in behind that space, they can really get some overloads going in. And if you get late runners into the box, get the crosses into the edge of the area, and then Manchester United could get some real joy against Tottenham. And we've seen it happen against Tottenham previously. If you can press those defenders hard enough, it really affects the way they build up their play. If I'm Ange Postecoglou, I'm going to a 3-2-5 build up. I'm telling one of the midfielders to come deeper, because in finals you cannot make stupid mistakes, and Ange Postecoglou's system right now, from what I've seen throughout the season, allows individuals to make mistakes. So if you want to rectify that, you get a midfielder to sit a bit deeper. Once you have a 3-2-5, the rest defense is definitely better on the counter-attack. The next disadvantage Spurs have is definitely similar to Manchester United. It's going to be a mid-off in that midfield. Bentancur and Bissouma have been much better, but when it comes to ball carrying and possession, that's where they thrive. Out of possession, they're not the greatest. So Manchester United aren't great out of possession, and Spurs aren't great out of possession. So it's all about who's actually going to be worse on the day. But if Manchester United can force those high turnovers against Bentancur, against Bissouma, and they have really fast players on their counter-attack, like Amad Diallo, like Garnacho, or even Højlund on his good day, which is very, very rare, but when he does have a good day, what Spurs could do to mitigate this is use Sarr as a number 10 instead, because he's very good at defensive coverage. He defends a lot quicker than the rest of the Spurs midfielders. Or they can just keep it simple and look to retain possession straight into the game, keep it controlled, and make sure they don't give away stupid passes where Manchester United can counter-attack them in the midfield. Finally, Manchester United can target Spurs on the set pieces. We all know how bad Spurs have been on set pieces, especially when the ball is in and around Vicario. He does not command his box at all. Harry Maguire is excellent in the box. Vicario is not good in the box. Bruno Fernandes is excellent at putting in a cross into the box. It's not rocket science. It's quite simple. Get that ball into the box and get those headers and get those goals. That's exactly what I'm thinking. If Bruno Fernandes puts in a good delivery and the ball goes towards Casemiro or Harry Maguire and they attack it, it could be a long day for Spurs. What Spurs could do is man mark the key players in Manchester United's attack that have good headers like Maguire and Casemiro with Romero and Van de Ven. But also they should be practicing Vicario commanding that box. Put some pressure on him in training. Give him that experience. Allow him to try and command the box because he needs to do it in this game. In my opinion though, the funny part of all of this is that Spurs have actually played Manchester United 3 times this season and they've won all 3 games. And that says a lot about Ange Postecoglou and Ruben Amorim and before him Erik ten Hag. The first one was at Old Trafford, which Tottenham ended up winning 3-0. It was a convincing victory and they put them down at their own home ground. The second was a 4-3 thriller in the Carabao Cup, but if you watch that game, you would know that Tottenham Hotspur actually dominated that game. And the most recent fixture, which was a complete mid-off, was 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur with James Maddison scoring the goal. But the quality of football was absolutely atrocious when you think about the standing of these two clubs. So if history is to go by, then it looks good for Tottenham Hotspur going into this game. On top of that, Spurs would definitely be motivated because they haven't won a trophy since the League Cup in 2008. They've seen Newcastle and Crystal Palace break their trophy droughts. Every one of the players in the squad will want to win this trophy because Heung-min Son truly deserves it because of how much hours, energy and just performances he's put in for Tottenham Hotspur, and he still hasn't been able to get anything tangible from them. They finally have that chance to change the narrative around the club and they will want to take it. So that's about the motivation that Tottenham Hotspur have and the confidence they have going into the game. But unfortunately for Tottenham, a lot of these Manchester United players have been here before. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and even Diogo Dalot, amongst other players in the Manchester United squad. They've been here and they've done it. They've played in finals. They got experience in the big games. Just imagine how much Casemiro has won at Real Madrid. And Manchester United are a very weird team. When the pressure is really on them is when they usually pull off some magical result or magical performance. When the back's against the wall is when Manchester United genuinely play their best football. And Ruben Amorim is playing for his future at the club. So if he loses this final, he could end up losing his job. So there's a lot to play in factor for Manchester United in this final. And I feel like the players, the manager, they all want to salvage the season for Manchester United. And that's why, the way I see it, the individual quality and the X factor is what wins you finals. As bad as Manchester United have been, they have more players available who have a chance to change a game, create something out of nothing, be able to provide that little bit of quality that can really change a tight game. Bruno Fernandes, the season he's having, the creative ability that he has. Amad Diallo, the dribbling ability that he has. Casemiro, off set pieces, who's made himself a massive set piece monster at Manchester United. Off the bench, they have the likes of Garnacho, Mason Mount, Kobbie Mainoo, who can really change the game. And these are the options, in my opinion, that Tottenham don't have. Manchester United players have shown on numerous occasions that when there's a tight game and they need someone to produce a bit of magic, players like Bruno Fernandes have been able to do that. Whereas on Tottenham Hotspur's side, they're missing James Maddison, they're missing Kulusevski, the type of players that who could have made of something out of nothing. So in my opinion, I believe Manchester United will win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, and they'll be winning the game 3-1. I hope you like this preview to the game and my prediction for the game, where I broke down exactly how Spurs can be beaten, exactly how Manchester United can be beaten, and the reason why I believe Manchester United will win the Europa League final. Let me know your predictions down below, like I said. But before you leave, don't forget to like the video, comment your predictions down below, and subscribe for more. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload, and peace.